Hey Calon Kids, thanks for joining us again this Saturday afternoon. I hope you've had a great week. It is so good to see you. We are going to give you the story this afternoon of the parable of the unforgiving servant. And if you can see in my hand here she is in her prison cell. So do you want to know why she's there? Then come on, let's start the craft. So we are going to start by making our jail. And what I've got here is a tissue box. Now, this one is from Asda. You can obviously get them anywhere. But this one from Asda is a good one because it's white already, so it's a lot easier. And all I've done is I've taken off the little bit of cardboard that tears off, and I've actually cut a square into it already. So that is going to be our jail room, our cell, if you like. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to paint it in grey. So remember the colours to mix? It's white with a little bit of black. And I've already done it here before we got started. So I'm just going to paint it grey. And then obviously, as you've painted, if you've got a patterned tissue box, you may need to cover it with white paper, or you may even have to paint it white first. So you'll have to see, depends on really what colour box you've gone and bought. So paint that on all over. Now what will happen, because the boxes are like a plasticky, it'll actually go all kind of speckly. You'll see what I mean when you do it. That's fine, because obviously stones are that way anyway, so don't worry about that at all. So just paint your box. It doesn't have to be all the way around, as long as it's the bits that obviously you can see. And there I am. So you haven't got to paint it all. As you can see, I've not done the back. I've just painted the sides, the top, and obviously the front of the box. I've got my hand inside because that's the easiest way to be able to paint it, but I haven't done the bottom either. So I'm just going to leave that dry now. So that needs to dry very, very well before we start doing anything else with the tissue box there. So while your prison cell is drying, let me tell you the story of the parable of the unforgiving servant. You can read it for yourself if you like in Matthew 18. The story goes like this. There was a master, and he called in his servant into his room and said to him, "You owe me quite a lot of money." Now the money he owed in our money is probably worth about £100,000. That is a lot of money that he owed. And so the master wanted the money back. The servant couldn't afford to pay him. And so the master was planning on sending him to prison, him and all his family, because he couldn't repay the loan. But the servant pleaded with him, "Please, master, I can't afford to pay you back. Please don't send me to prison. Please don't send my family to prison." So the master took pity on him. And the master said, "Okay, it's fine. I won't send you to prison, and you don't have to pay me back." The servant left the master, and as he left, he bumped into a friend. Now, his friend owed him in our money the equivalent of £10, which isn't much in comparison to what he owed the master. But he immediately insisted on his friend paying him back that £10. In the same way, his friend said, "But I can't afford it. I haven't got the money." And the servant planned to send him to prison. And he was pleading with him, his friend, "Please, I can't afford to pay you. Please don't send me to prison." But the servant was really angry and said, "No, you have to go to prison. You can't give me my money back, so I'm sending you to jail." Now, when the master found out what had happened, he was furious. He got his soldiers to bring the servant back in, and he brought him back in, and he said to him, "How dare you do that? I was kind to you, and yet you were not kind to your friend. I didn't send you to prison, but you sent your friend to prison. I let you off from paying me the £100,000, but you're making your friend pay you the £10. That is not right." So do you know what he did? He sent the servant to prison, and he left him in prison until he paid every single penny back. So that what Jesus was trying to tell us in this parable is that we can't treat other people a certain way, but expect them to treat us a different way. In other words, if we're not willing to share, we can't expect people to share things with us. If we're not willing to be nice to somebody, we can't expect them to be nice to us. If we're not going to be friendly and polite to people, we can't expect other people to be friendly and polite to us. We have to treat people the way we want them to treat us. And that's what this parable was all about. If you are forgiven, we should also forgive others. By now, your prison cell should have dried. So let's see if it's dried. Yes, it has. So we're going to make this now into a prison cell. So what does a prison cell need? It needs bars on the front, because at the moment, the prisoners can escape through here. So what I've got here is some pipe cleaners. Now I've got some sparkly silver ones. You might not have pipe cleaners. They could be any colour. It doesn't really matter. If you haven't got pipe cleaners, you can maybe use straws, string, elastic bands, bits of wool, bits of ribbon, anything that you can find to put your bars on the prison cell. So what you'll need to do is you'll need to make holes in the top and in the bottom. Now you may need Mammy or Daddy to help you with this, but I've got a scissors, so I'm just going to make some holes in the top. Hold it steady. 1, 2, 3. Now the box is a bit bendy, so be very careful with the holes. So I've got 3 holes in the top and then 3 holes in the bottom. Now once you've put your holes in the top and the bottom, you then need to put in your bars. So we put 1 in. So thread your pipe cleaners through the hole at the top and at the bottom. So thread it through all the way. Threading it through the hole in the top, pulling it all the way through to the bottom. Then you pull them tight and you just need to secure them. Now with pipe cleaners, obviously they just bend, don't they? So that's a little bit easier. And then just secure them with a little bit of sellotape. And once you've done it, you'll then see you've got 3 bars on your prison cell ready to put in your prisoner. Then we need to make our prisoner. So on the website, there would be a template for you of a little girl and a little boy. Or just draw your own. It's not a problem, whatever you rather do. So I've got a picture here of a little girl that I've got drawn on the template. I don't know if you can see that there. So I just need to colour in my prisoner. Now, what do you wear when you're in prison? Some in this country might wear grey. Some in America might wear orange. You might just want to put normal clothes on, but you decorate your prisoner whichever way you want. So once you have coloured in your little prisoner and cut it out, you're ready then to put it in prison. Now, I've got a little girl, so I'm going to put my little girl in prison. Now, I need to attach her to some sort of stick. So I've got a lollipop stick. If you haven't got a lollipop stick, you might have a straw. It might be a piece of card. Whatever you've got, an old pencil, anything just to be able to support it. So we need to glue our prisoner onto the lollipop stick. So I'm just using Pritt stick. You can use sellotape, whatever, just to secure her onto the stick so that we can put her in prison. Now, in order to put her into our prison, we need to cut a hole in the bottom. So again, you might need to get a grown-up to help you use the scissors for this, because whatever you do, be careful of your fingers. And all we need to do is cut a slot in the bottom of our prison cell. So stick your scissors in and cut the hole in the bottom so that you've got a slot so we can slide our prisoner into the slot. So once you've made the hole in the bottom of your prison cell, we can then slot the prisoner in through the hole. So be very careful, and she can go in through the hole. So there's our prisoner in jail, look at her. She's really sad. She's got a sad face on her because she is really sorry now that she wasn't kind to her friend too, just like the master. Now we're just going to finish this off by putting our verse on it. So again, the verse is on the website. Go and print it off, colour it in and fix it to your prison cell. And that is our finished prison cell. So next time you see this, I hope you will remember the story of the unforgiving servant and you will do just like it says on there from Luke 6. Treat others the same way you want them to treat you. So I hope you've enjoyed this week. We'll see you again next week for another parable.